Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar betray Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso are not on the same page. WWE quietly shifts strategy for NXT call-ups. Why AEW wrote Adam Copeland off television. Why WWE didn't put the Intercontinental Title on Rusev. How El Grande Americano made friends in WWE. TKO's WWE ticket prices are out of control. Why Vince McMahon never priced out WWE fans the way TKO is right now. Triple H's secret grudge against McIntyre. Why Roman Reigns ignored Jimmy Uso on Raw. Let's dive right in. Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso are not on the same page. The latest WWE Raw closed with a bang as Roman Reigns stormed back, but the show dropped plenty of quiet clues about what's next. From a big Intercontinental Title clash to Brock Lesnar's name popping up, here are 5 things WWE subtly hinted at on Monday Night Raw. Number 1, Roman Reigns and Jimmy Uso aren't clicking. Roman Reigns rocked the Vision's world by returning during the main event. The original Tribal Chief swooped in to save the Usos from Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. But after the dust settled, Reigns and Jey Uso had a fired-up moment where the OTC bigged up the Yeet Master. Meanwhile, Big Jim stood off to the side, and Reigns didn't even glance his way. He hugged Jey but seemed to blank Jimmy. This quiet move hints that Roman and Jimmy aren't seeing eye to eye, and the OG bloodline's already showing cracks. Number 2, Roman Reigns versus Braun Breaker at Crown Jewel. Roman Reigns already took down Bronson Reed at Clash in Paris. After his big Raw comeback and jumping Braun Breaker, it's looking likely that the OTC will face the new big dog in a one-on-one fight at WWE Crown Jewel. Fans have dreamed of Roman versus Breaker for years, and the current Vision versus OG Bloodline story feels like the perfect setup for this showdown in Perth. Number 3, Brock Lesnar and Seth Rollins joining forces. Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes traded verbal jabs in a promo on the Red brand. During the back and forth, the American Nightmare name-dropped Brock Lesnar, pointing out how Paul Heyman brought the Beast back at WrestlePalooza. Cody questioned if the Visionary okayed it. The World Heavyweight Champion fired back, saying every Vision move goes through him. This quietly confirms Rollins greenlit Heyman's reunion with the Beast incarnate in Indianapolis. It's a clear nudge that fans might see Rollins and Lesnar teaming up soon in WWE. Number 4, Dominic Mysterio's IC title, reign stays strong. Dominic Mysterio pulled off another slick title defense, outsmarting Rusev on Raw. Dirty Dom got the better of the Bulgarian Brute with a sneaky low blow to snag the win. The Judgment Day star topping the ex-US champion feels like a low-key sign that his Intercontinental Championship run isn't ending anytime soon. Dom's already beaten AJ Styles multiple times, and this win over Rusev points to a long title reign on the Red brand. Number 5, Sky might stab Ripley in the back at Crown Jewel. It's locked in. Rhea Ripley and Sky will team up against the Kabuki Warriors in a tag match at Crown Jewel. But on Raw, the genius of the Sky seemed torn about the Kabuki Warriors, even after they turned on her. Asuka and Kairi Sane capitalized on her hesitation and stood tall over Mommy and Sky. In a backstage moment, Rhea talked Sky into the Crown Jewel tag match, and the ex-women's world champion finally agreed. But that confusion could spark trouble in Perth if the Empress of Tomorrow twists Sky's head. It might lead to Sky double-crossing the Eradicator. WWE quietly shifts strategy for NXT call-ups. WWE's handling NXT call-ups in a fresh way these days, and it's far from the old routine. Back in the Vince McMahon years, main roster pulls often hit NXT teams out of nowhere. Stars got ripped from TV without warning and shipped up. That setup is gone now, swapped for a smoother, hush-hush system. Fightful Select reports WWE revamped its NXT call-up process over the last year. They keep details tight until the final seconds, even from some insiders, and stars don't always have to bounce from NXT TV right away. The call-ups themselves have been kept way closer to the vest, and are less strict as a talent getting off of NXT TV just to go to the main roster. The standard procedure has been that a talent gets called up, and because of the easier main roster schedule these days, they can usually still finish out on NXT TV. This new way lets WWE wrap up NXT stories without a hitch while slipping talent into Raw or SmackDown lineups. It makes for easier moves for the wrestlers, and fewer holes in Tuesday night shows. A backstage mindset fuels the change too. Someone from the WWE Performance Center said the company sees value in keeping pros around NXT for reasons beyond just training newbies. It was stated by that source that there have been some brought in that didn't have immediate main roster plans, and a full-on NXT run was the intent from the company. The push seems geared toward building for the long haul, treating NXT as more than a quick stop, and keeping some vets on deck to lift the young crew. WWE's updated call-up game shows a sharper, forward-thinking style that could change how everyone sees NXT's place in the whole setup. What do you make of WWE's new call-up plan? Why AEW wrote Adam Copeland off television. Fans started guessing wild things when Adam Copeland vanished from AEW TV, like maybe a WWE return for one last big fight with John Cena. But as we shared last week, those ideas missed the mark. Copeland isn't heading back to wrestling. He's jumping deeper into movies. Variety just confirmed the WWE Hall of Famer landed a role in The Beekeeper 2, the follow-up to Jason Statham's surprise hit that pulled in $162 million around the world. Copeland joins a strong cast with Pom Klementieff, Jeremy Irons, and Yara Shahidi. Pom Klementieff, Mission Impossible, Guardians of the Galaxy, and pro wrestler turned actor Adam Copeland, Percy Jackson, and the Olympians are the latest to join the cast of the Jason Statham starring action thriller. Copeland's part stays secret for now, but the sequel is rolling under director Timo Tchajanto, with Kurt Wimmer back on the script. Jason Statham's producing too through his Punch Palace Productions, and Amazon MGM Studios handles the global release. This isn't Copeland's only screen gig right now. We told you last week he's shooting season 3 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians for Disney+, stepping back into Ares, the god of war. That role already got him a nod at the Children's and Family Emmys. Not bad for a wrestler turned actor. So while crowds miss him in the ring, Copeland's clearly set on taking over Hollywood for the time being. Adam Copeland's shine keeps growing outside wrestling, and it feels like he's just warming up. Will he step back into AEW or WWE someday? That's up in the air, but for now, he's locked on the silver screen. Would you rather see Adam Copeland back in the ring, or do you think he's found his true spot in Hollywood? Why WWE didn't put the Intercontinental title on Rusev. Rusev gave it his all, but came up short against Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship on WWE Raw. The Bulgarian Brute went toe-to-toe with Dirty Dom in a title fight, but Dom pulled through and kept his belt. Here's why WWE didn't put the IC title on Rusev during Monday Night Raw. One big reason Rusev didn't snag the gold is his lack of steam on the red brand. Since coming back to the Stamford-based company, the former United States champion hasn't racked up any big wins. He tangled with Sheamus in a feud and came out on top, but that's about it. His lack of a hot streak likely kept him from claiming the championship. Dominic Mysterio's been on a roll, not just as Intercontinental champion, but also as the new AAA Mega Champion, making him a double title holder. Dirty Dom has taken down big names like AJ Styles in multiple matches since grabbing the IC belt. It's no surprise he didn't lose it in the second match of Raw. If the bout had closed the show, Rusev might have had a better shot at taking the title, but Dom's momentum made a loss unlikely. John Cena has conquered nearly everything in his WWE career, but the 17-time world champion still hasn't nabbed the Intercontinental title to complete his Grand Slam champion status. Word is buzzing that a clash between Cena and Dominic could happen before the franchise player's farewell tour wraps up. This might be why WWE kept the belt on the Judgment Day star, setting up a big IC title feud with Cena soon. How El Grande Americano made friends in WWE. Ever curious how El Grande Americano pulled together his crew on WWE Raw? Wade Barrett dropped a wild take on it during Monday's commentary. Leading Ryo, Pete Dunne, and Bravo, Tyler Bate, El Grande Americano, Ludwig Kaiser, now heads the group Los Americanos. Ryo and Bravo took on AJ Styles and Dragon Lee in this week's WWE Raw tag match. But right before the bell, Wade Barrett laid out his odd spin on how Los Americanos came to be. El Grande Americano is just breeding, but not in the traditional sense. It's like bacteria. It divides through a reproduction, if you remember biology class. Joe Tess. Exponential growth. 1 turns into 2, 2's gonna turn into 4, then 8, 16, and then before you know it, they're gonna rule the world. The WWE Raw voice also tossed in that the Americano family invented Lucha Libre. That's a bold claim, if it holds water. El Grande Americano's new pals, or kids, or maybe both, aim to shine for their boss this week. But Ryo and Bravo hit a wall when AJ Styles and Dragon Lee snagged the tag win. Don't count on it being their last run-in, though. On October 25th, Lee lines up to challenge Dominic Mysterio for the AAA Mega Championship at AAA Heroes Inmortales. We all know Mysterio ties in with El Grande Americano, which opens the door for Los Americanos to meddle in the title scrap. Sure, the trio could also trip up AJ Styles hard. That'd mean crossing to Australia. Styles faces John Cena at WWE Crown Jewel 2025 in Perth, and no one bets on Los Americanos crashing that primetime clash. Still, you can't guess what these Lucha Libre trailblazers might cook up next. TKO's WWE ticket prices are out of control. Talk of WWE ticket prices under TKO has fans online fired up, and a wrestling old-timer says it's spiraling out of hand. On the latest Wrestling Time Machine, host Mac Davis dove into how ticket costs are hitting the sports entertainment giant hard. WrestleMania seats now run into tens of thousands of dollars, leaving most fans shut out. Veteran journalist Bill Apter called the TKO era a total mess for prices, adding that the ESPN deal, forcing fans to shell out $30 a month for premium live events, just piles on the pain. It's out of control as far as I'm concerned. The wrestling fan is being priced out, even on TV, just by streaming ESPN for WWE's PLES. People can't afford this kind of money. Bill Apter kept going on the ticket price headache as host Mac Davis ripped TKO for looking like money grubbers with the whole setup. Apter agreed, calling it a fine mess for everyday wrestling fans when it comes to the ESPN switch and sky-high seats. The world is changing, and the wrestling world, the streaming world, and for the wrestling fan, this is another fine mess. The company seems set to keep jacking up prices, at least if TKO exec Mark Shapiro has his way. He flat out said Vince McMahon obsessed too much over keeping tickets cheap for families, missing out on bigger cash grabs. We'll see how this shakes out over time. Why Vince McMahon never priced out WWE fans the way TKO is right now. Teddy Long got straight to the point when asked why Vince McMahon's approach to ticket prices differed so much from TKO's. The former SmackDown general manager shared some sharp insight. On the latest Sportskeeda's The Wrestling Time Machine, host Mac Davis, alongside Teddy Long and Bill Apter, dug into the soaring ticket costs for WWE's big shows. Davis called out TKO for what looks like a grab for quick cash. They noted how Vince McMahon deliberately kept tickets priced for families, and Teddy Long explained that McMahon's deep wrestling know-how stopped him from chasing ticket sale profits like TKO does. Long also pointed out that TKO's execs are green when it comes to wrestling. Vince McMahon is a businessman and he knows exactly what to do. A lot of these guys coming into the business don't have a clue about it, and they're just doing what they want to do, and not what people want. Talk also swirled around Vince McMahon's big 85th birthday bash at the fancy Baccarat Hotel, where phones were banned. Big names like Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, R-Truth, Sergeant Slaughter, Bruce Pritchard, and Jerry Lawler showed up. Teddy Long was there too. On an earlier Wrestling Time Machine episode, Long shared that he and John Cena were the only talents at Vince's table. The first night was very good, just the opening and stuff. I had a really good conversation with Vince McMahon. Some of the things I won't repeat because that was between me and him, but first thing he said to me was, "It's so good to see you." And I thanked him for everything he had done for me, and Saturday night for the birthday party, I went and sat down at the table and the lady said, "You're Teddy Long, you're at Vince's table." So the only talents that were at that table were me and John Cena. I believe that was it. I saw R-Truth come down and sit, but he wasn't at the table. While McMahon's a touchy subject among wrestlers, Teddy Long has stayed fiercely loyal, always thanking his old boss. He said time and again that, controversies aside, McMahon made his career what it is. That's where things get layered. Social media loves clear-cut takes, but for those whose lives were shaped by McMahon, it's a complex bond. Bill Apter thinks WWE will lean on NXT shows as a cheaper way for fans to get their wrestling fix when main roster tickets are out of reach. You know what they're going to do, in my opinion? They're going to take NXT and all the places they had spot shows that they don't do anymore. NXT is going to be the less expensive and spot show place. One thing's clear. TKO execs see ticket prices as a gold mine. They're likely to keep climbing. TKO Chief Operating Officer Ben Shapiro, speaking at the Goldman Sachs Communicopia Plus Technology Conference, broke down their mindset. "We know we have more room to go. Why do we know that? UFC is breaking records everywhere they go. We know we have a lot of room there because Vince McMahon was primarily pricing tickets for families and wasn't totally focused on maxing the opportunity there. We see what we can do with the UFC, and we're replicating that in terms of ticket yield and advanced sales when it comes to on location on the WWE side. It's really working out well," he said. When a fan called out WWE President Nick Khan in public about ticket costs, Khan replied, "I understand." That sparked a bit of hope for some wiggle room, but TKO's current vibe is all about growth no matter what. It'll be worth watching how this plays out long term, as WWE keeps raking in ticket sales, even with fans grumbling about a creative dip from 2023 to 2024. Triple H's secret grudge against McIntyre. WWE has seen a bunch of new and returning stars climb to the top under Triple H's creative watch. Inside sources and Jonathan Coachman chatted about whether the game feels jealous of Drew McIntyre and the Stamford Company. The Scottish Warrior has been in top shape and ran one of 2024's hottest rivalries against CM Punk. But McIntyre keeps coming up short in big fights and drops title chances in the Stamford promotion. On Behind the Turnbuckle Studios' The Coach and Bro Show, inside sources and Jonathan Coachman both said there's jealousy aimed at the two-time WWE and one-time World Heavyweight Champion from the boss. The signs show up clear in how he's booked as a wrestler. How does that happen? You're going to tell me wrestler jealousy doesn't come into play? If you guys believe that, you're honestly not learning anything from us here, inside sources said. Coachman added that McIntyre is a pro in every way, but the bosses won't let him grab the top spot. "I love the dude. I absolutely love the dude. There's nothing not to love about him. He's a professional in every sense of the word," Coachman said. A while back, Drew McIntyre came back to the Stamford promotion and racked up wins on Friday Night SmackDown. After beating Randy Orton, he earned a shot at Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship in Indiana at WrestlePalooza. He fell short in the match and turned his eyes to Jacob Fatu. On the SmackDown after WrestlePalooza, McIntyre vented about the defeat when the Samoan Werewolf stepped up. This sparked a scrap, and Fatu got the edge on the three-time world champion with a hit from a medical boot. Lately, Drew McIntyre landed a role in a project with Henry Cavill, and it'll be a thrill to see if the Fatu attack kicked off their beef or just cleared the way to pull the Scottish Warrior off WWE TV for a bit. Why Roman Reigns ignored Jimmy Uso on Raw. Roman Reigns rocked Monday Night Raw with a huge comeback, but sharp-eyed fans caught something off. The OTC seemed to blank Jimmy Uso. In the Red Brand's main event, the Usos battled Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed in a tag team clash. As the Vision wrecked the Samoan brothers, the original tribal chief burst back and pulled the Usos from the fire. Right after, Roman Reigns pumped up the Yeet Master, but Big Jim hung back in the shadows. No nod, no chat. Nothing for Jimmy. This cold shoulder hints Reigns might have iced out Jimmy on purpose. Here are 5 ideas on why Reigns skipped the Samoan star on Raw. In recent weeks, Jey Uso's flipped into a bossy mode, acting more commanding than Jimmy. That's why Big Jim even compared him to Reigns, pointing out Jey lacks the Ulafala to bark orders. With Jey looking like the OTC in the making, Roman Reigns could be shaping him as the Samoan family's future tribal chief. This might explain why he zeroed in on Jey during his return and left Jimmy hanging on Raw. On a past Raw episode, Jey Uso took a mysterious phone call backstage. When Jimmy pressed him on who it was, Jey kept it zipped. Lots think Roman Reigns was on the line, so Jey might have reached out to the OTC himself for a check-in and backup against the Vision. That could be why Reigns showed up and stuck close to the Yeet Master alone. Another angle for Roman Reigns brushing off Jimmy Uso on his return could be WWE's plan to pair Reigns and Jey against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. The OTC isn't lined up for Seth Rollins anytime soon, at least not at Crown Jewel where Rollins takes on Cody Rhodes. With that in mind, WWE might skip Jimmy for now and book a tag team showdown with Roman and Jey versus The Vision. Triple H could write Jimmy off TV for a bit to spotlight this fresh duo. Jey's sharp edge rubs Jimmy Uso wrong, especially after Jey picked sides against LA Knight, even though the megastar saved them weeks back on Raw. On the flip side, Roman clearly digs the Yeet Master's tough streak. The reason the former undisputed champion might have snubbed Jimmy is he sees Jimmy as a drag on Jey's full power. Even on the next Raw, Roman and Jimmy could hash it out over this very thing. Without the OTC around, Jimmy Uso dropped heavy lines about Reigns. He likened Jey to the head of the table after Jey's shift against him. This dig paints Jimmy as still seeing Reigns as the bad guy, and those words could explain why Roman gave him the cold shoulder on Raw. Now it'll be a thrill to watch how the pieces fall in the shows ahead. Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar betray Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins started the Vision with Paul Heyman and has ruled strong on WWE Raw, but the group might break apart already. These past few weeks, Seth Rollins has zeroed in on Cody Rhodes. While that's been going on, Paul Heyman has teamed up with Brock Lesnar, rolling him out and announcing him. Heyman has also stuck close to Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, guiding them and lending a hand. Seth Rollins hasn't shown up to back the two stars he brought into the fold, while Heyman seems to have stepped right into the lead spot. Cody Rhodes called this out too, pointing to how Heyman calls the shots. Seth Rollins shot it down hard, insisting every move in the group passes through him, including Heyman and Lesnar. Rhodes pushed back, saying Seth hasn't been running the Vision, and that's the real deal. The same with Braun and Bronson. You bringing them under your wing to teach them? Yes. Control them? No. By the way, they happened to show up Friday on SmackDown. That's not their show. But I have reason to believe you did not send them. Mr. Heyman sent them. Here we are on the subject of control once again. When it comes to your own group, who is in control? He even grilled Seth on his grip over Heyman. Everything goes through you. Everything goes through you? So I assume you are the one who allowed Mr. Heyman to announce Brock Lesnar. Even later that night, Seth Rollins stayed locked on Rhodes, ignoring Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, who had a match lined up. In the end, it was Heyman who handed them their game plan. Seth Rollins swears he's got full command over everything in WWE these days, but trouble could be brewing on Raw. If Heyman spots Seth's blind spot and sides with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed alongside Brock Lesnar, things could turn ugly fast for the champ. Right now, no one knows Seth's full play or what Paul Heyman has cooking.